We begin from Parliament, where Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has served notice he will challenge the ruling of the First Deputy Speaker dismissing his motion of rescission on the 2022 budget. Joseph Osei-Wusu, at the start of today's proceedings, insisted that he gave a ruling during last Wednesday's parliamentary proceedings, which were characterized by chaos. According to the First Deputy Speaker, he gave the ruling and proceeded to ask the table of office to amend the votes and proceedings to reflect events of that day. But that was challenged by the Minority Leader, who insisted that Osei-Wusu did not rule on the motion and therefore charged him to put the motion to a vote. Let's speak to my colleague, KWESI Parker Wilson, who has been in Parliament for us. Parker, bring us up to speed on happenings on the floor of Parliament.
Aisha, I have been reliably informed by the minority that this motion is only not to challenge the ruling of the First Deputy Speaker, but also to question his conduct. They believe that his conduct is quite unparliamentary. What he's done is sort of undermining the rules and procedures of Parliament. And anybody who has a better understanding or appreciation of Parliament knows that Parliament is guided by the standing orders, and the speakers derive their authority and their powers from the standing orders. So any breach amounts to undermining the standing order. So that is what they are going to do. In fact, as I speak to you, the minority chief whip and the minority leader himself are not in the chamber. They have moved out to go and finalize on the motion because they are not happy with the decision. Again, we are told that the appropriation or the estimate for the budget will be done tomorrow, will commence tomorrow. The minority has a different view because they believe that they will be successful with this motion. And what it means is that if they are successful with their motion, then the whole 2022 budget again would be thrown out by the minority if they succeed with this particular motion of recession. And you know that the concern about the recession is about the approval of the budget by just one-sided house, being the NPP MPs in the chamber. So that has been discussed earlier in the chamber. And then secondly, there was an issue about the amendment. Yesterday, you recall that the finance minister held the press conference and again indicated to us that he has officially written to the Speaker of Parliament with regards to some amendment being made to the budget. Well, today, the amendment has been laid before the House, but not without disagreement. The minority again raised concerns about the absence of the finance minister. They believe the motion is in the name of the finance minister. We should have been in the chamber to lay the motion, the amendment before the House, but he didn't do that. But let me say that the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, was still clear in his mind that in spite of the amendment to the bill, they are still opposed to the e-levy. And e-levy is the most critical issue for the minority in this budget. And so if they are opposing it, what it means is that they are opposing the budget, even though the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei-Wusu, who was in the chamber, ruled that the amendment has been adopted and is been added to the budget for 2022. So that is what has transpired in the chamber. But I have with me the Honorable Telabi here, MP for Lower Manya Krobo constituency. Honorable, thank you very much for your time. Now, I just want to get something clear. The minority has said that what the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament did was unconstitutional. But my concern is if you indeed are convinced in your mind that your leader was right, why did he concede to the ruling that the First Deputy Speaker ruled on the matter?
Well, you see, the fact is that in every situation, in the courts, whatever ruling that is given by whoever, but be the judge, whichever level, once there's a ruling, until you come up with a substantive motion to overturn it, it stands as a ruling. You understand? It's the same thing in Parliament. There has been some ruling. We think it is unfair. It didn't take into consideration the rules of engagement as far as Parliament is concerned. And therefore, we have to come up with a motion, to overturn it. And that is what we are going to do.
But this motion, I know that we're still for on the laps of the first deputy speaker of parliament. I mean, he has to decide whether to adopt the motion or not.
Yes, and that is where his conduct would come, to play. We want to see whether he is acting as a speaker because or he is deciding for himself and his party.
But we expect him to adopt the motion when it's
certainly, because you are supposed to notify him. You understand? You are supposed, to bring to his attention, and that's what the speaker, the leader, our leader did. Indicating that this is what we are going to do. So that is what is captured in the constitution, in our standing order. Proud, information we have indicated to him that this is what we are going to do. So let's see whether he will accept it or not, and then whether he accepts it, as I said, will also indicate the conduct of the speaker.
Well, let's talk about the budget itself because I'm very curious. I mean, you came up with 5 demands.
Yes.
4 have been adopted by the finance.
Well, even the
but the E-levy, it's still a matter of concern. There are those who have said that the minority is being headstrong.
No, not exactly. You see, it is not the minority alone that is against the E-levy, and that must be drummed home seriously. The people of Ghana are against this. Even NPP stalwarts, Kwame Pianim, is on record. When this budget was read, I'm sure you joined us. Did you listen to the consultants? Those they invited. We didn't invite them. Those the experts they brought, not even a single person among those experts indicated or concluded that that E-levy was okay. Everybody was against, the fact that the E-levy was regressive, the fact that we are embarking on a certain process of trying to digitalize. Now, we are encouraging people, we are encouraging paperless, we are encouraging, reducing the use of, hard currencies. You understand? Paper currencies, whether it be coins or whatever, because of security reasons. You understand? We want to ease, business, the doing of business as far as our various day-to-day transactions are concerned. And you want to discourage people because you see, in the wisdom of the economy, those who came to speak to us, they believe, and I also believe, that this is not an inelastic, sort of situation. Because they're options. If it is inelastic, then now you can push the people to the wall. But now, what is going to happen is that we are going to have a lot of cash in the system. If the two of us go and purchase something from, this desk right now, and you have your card, or you have e-money, that's the mobile money, on your phone. Once you pay the person, you are going to pay extra 1.75. But then if I have cash on me, okay, it's part of the risk. If I have cash on me, it means that you are going to pay. I'm going to pay less that amount. So there are going to be options. So it's going to defeat the purpose of digitalization that has been drummed home. So much.
I think I get an understanding about the E-levy, but I know that the estimates we are told will begin tomorrow.
Yes.
If you succeed with your motion of rescission, what does that mean? Does it mean that does it overthrow the budget?
It means you don't have anything for us.
So if you fail, then the E-levy will still be on the table. Are you going to support it at the various companies?
Well, see, we have made our position clear that it is inimical, it's regressive. We don't support it.
So at the committee level with the budget estimation, what are you going to do?
Well, you see, I mean, at the consideration of the estimate, it's not only about 2022.
Right.
We have to, go into how 2021 allocations were utilized.
Okay.
You understand? So that's another thing, another area. It's not about just 2022. It's also about, accounting for what monies we gave them, in the previous year. And that's also very, very important. Because you see, if you look at if the Auditor General report is anything to go by, a lot of irregularities. And it is through that scrutiny that we can really, stop some of the infractions that are, ongoing.
Honorable, thank you very much for your time. So Aisha, that's the Member of Parliament for Lower Menyak Tobo constituency. Someone will be there. Patrick Yaboma, I've just seen Patrick Yaboma. He is the Vice Chairman on the Finance Committee. I'm hoping to engage him briefly on that, because the minority is still convinced that the e-levy should be discarded, the e-levy should be taken from the budget. And so I wanted to engage Patrick Aboma briefly. Honorable, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. This is JoyNews. But I know I've ambushed it, I understand, I get it. But just briefly, your colleagues on the other side, the NDC colleagues, are still clear in their minds that the e-levy is a no-no for them. But some of them have threatened that if the budget is not approved, you can't blame them. They should rather blame the majority. And this was made by the LMLA MP. You were in the chamber, you heard them. I mean, why isn't the majority conceding or being amenable to changes with regards to the percentage on the e-levy?
Thank you. Yesterday, you listened to the finance minister. Right. He made a lot of concessions. He said that on the subject of the e-levy, consultations were what? Still ongoing. Okay. So it does not lie in the mouth of anyone to say that, no approval, no approval. You understand? We are in this country to ensure that we govern the good people of this country. Well, ensure that we listen to the concerns of their needs and take on board their comments or their concerns. So I believe that it was in that spirit that the Minister of Finance made those concessions and also alluded to the fact that discussions were ongoing.
But some wanted the 1.75 drop. I mean, 1%.
If discussions are not held, if the numbers are not well explained to people, how can we arrive at a figure? Understand? So the fiscal and the scenario and the global economy ought to be put before those who are for or against it to understand where we are to make a decision for the good people of this country. So I'm praying that we arrive at a good resolution and ensure that we move this country forward.
Well, they are threatening not to support even the budget estimate when it's before the committee. I mean, you are the vice chair of the finance committee. Are you perturbed by the pronouncement of your minority?
The minority has always supported this country.
Well, but this one, they say they won't support. They are very clear.
They are not saying they won't support the government or the budget. They have issues with the e-levy. We are talking to them. We are explaining issues to them. We want to arrive at a position where we will agree. That is democracy. So at the end of the day, democracy will win. At the end of the day, Ghana will be victorious. That's all. I don't want to go into numbers with you. You just ambushed me, and that's all I can tell you.
I see, but finally for me, the minority leadership motives of filing challenging the speaker's decision on, of course, setting aside the approval of the budget by your side of the house. I'm told that the motion will be filed hopefully today or something. Is this something that you're worried about? Do you have the numbers in the house to challenge?
I pray that we don't get to that point.
You don't get to that point?
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, so Aisha, Patrick Aboma there, he's saying that we don't get to the point where the minority will challenge the speaker's decision in order to set aside the approval of the budget. So this is the information we have from Parliament. In fact, I can confirm to you that the minority is seriously working towards the motion so that by the close of day today, they will submit the motion before the House for the debate and subsequently for a vote to be put on the motion to determine whether or not the budget should be approved or should be rejected.
The minority in Parliament has served notice it will push for a parliamentary probe into the conduct of Joseph Wusu, which they say led to the chaotic scenes in the chamber last Wednesday. According to the NDC MPs, the conduct of the Bekwai MP undermines the standing orders. The comment comes after the First Deputy Speaker called for sanctions against the minority MPs captured in the viral video, causing chaos in the House. He spoke on the probe with my colleague Parl.
I don't know. On the floor, some people have behaved what I will call unruly. I'll call unparliamentary. But when it comes to tensions, I don't see that. When we leave there, we'll discuss those things. When I was leaving the chamber on Wednesday, I was working with some of the minority people, and we were discussing our respective views. There was no tension between us. I am sure that I'm safe in the house. I'm sure that even those who had been seen on videos doing things which I will call unparliamentary have themselves regretted what they did. I'm not sure anybody wants to be cited again, but I have no reason to fear my colleague members of parliament. We have been meeting. The day after my ruling on Wednesday, on the Thursday, as I've just said, I called the leaders of both sides of the House and the directors of Parliament, and we met to discuss some of the things that had happened after I had left the chamber. And that's when I said I learned that actually the whips on both sides have formed committees, including some of the people who were seen in the video doing things which are called unparliamentary. And they have reached consensus that those things will not be repeated. Let me say that since I've been a member of parliament, we have always been cooperative. Now I know we are cooperating quite well. If you recall, the other time when you interviewed me on this program, I said, what I see is that it does appear that the party outside Parliament rather is taking hold and trying to direct how Parliament's behavior should be. That, in my view, is where we're getting it wrong. I think members of Parliament should stand firm and assert themselves. Whatever decision we come to, they will be held responsible.